Hello and welcome to All About Sport. I'm Louise O'Reilly. On tonight's show I'm joined by Finbar Riley, who is speaking to us about the St Pat's team who recently qualified for the Brock Cup final. So Finbar, thank you very much for joining us in the studio. So Finbar, tell us a little bit about, obviously, St Pat's have had a lot of success in recent years with their teams. But tell us a little bit about this team. Great excitement the other day when they won and qualified.
Wonderful excitement, a great day for the school, another great day for Cavan underage football. They played Mahara, who would have been heavy favourites for the game yesterday in Moy in Tyrone. They won the game by 2 points. It was a tremendous team performance from start to finish. They would have played Mahara in the group game, in the group stages earlier in the competition, and would have lost heavily. So they were really underdogs going into it. So they put on a tremendous display of heart and courage and skill to pull through. So it was a tremendous victory.
So it was like Cavan, obviously it was 110, 1-8. So what key players, kind of dominated that game, or who should we kind of look out for?
David Wilson had a tremendous game at midfield. He was marking Mahara's key player, a guy called Conor Glass, who would have won a McCrory medal actually with Mahara on St Patrick's Day, and a Hogan Cup, a young fella. Davey had a tremendous game on him at midfield. Thomas Edward Donohoe, centre half forward, scored 5 points. Paul Eddy, full forward, was a key player. Caelan Kelly, full back. So a couple of key players up the middle. So all those guys really stepped up and performed.
Brilliant. Obviously you have to put in a lot of work going into the school. You're a development officer with Cavan, and you go in a lot to the school to kind of support these boys and to train them, but you travelled up yourself for the game. Obviously it takes great commitment for these young boys and to travel up. Was there a lot of people supporting them? There
was some members of staff from the school, some parents. But like myself, now I'm not directly involved with that team, but we would have a lot of those players on development squads, so it's an opportunity to get to assess them at a high level. So,
when you get there, you train the 16.
Yes, and I'm involved with the under 15 county development team. Okay. So a number of those would have been playing yesterday in Moy. So it was an ideal opportunity for me to see them against a high level opposition and see how they were able to cope. And
brilliant.
Thankfully they coped well.
Yeah. And so it's the Brock Cup final. When's that taking place?
It's Monday at 2 p.m.
Right, so it's coming very quick. So very little time for recovery and to prepare. So who are they going to be facing in that final?
They're playing St Patrick's Academy, Dungannon.
Okay.
And again,
what sort of a team are they?
They will be strong. They won the Cornanog competition, which would have been the under 14 competition, just the equivalent of this age group last year. And they would have lost. Dungannon would have been beaten in the first year competition, so Dungannon have been to the fore at this age group. So they will be favourites. Cavan would probably see themselves as being in bonus territory here. But listen, we're the Brock Cup holders. We won it last year.
I was just going to say, have they won this before?
We won it, we actually won it, would you believe, 12 months to today.
Oh, right.
This day, it was won on the 1st of May last year, for the first time ever, which was a real landmark victory for the school. And I think
they really want to retain again this year.
The cup is in the school, and I think they
don't want to let it go.
No. So, it's 2 o'clock on Monday.
Okay.
I don't think there's a venue just fixed yet.
Yeah.
But it'll be great. Hopefully it's a bank holiday, and hopefully it'll be a good crowd.
Absolutely. I was just thinking, so it's a bank holiday. So just to mention, I suppose we will talk about the team you train, and we've had you in before, but who's the trainers involved with this particular team?
Well, Shane Fitzpatrick is on the teaching staff. He would be the manager of the team, and Sean Doherty is, I suppose, assistant manager slash coach. Yeah. The two of them have put in huge amount of work. I think right back from September they were doing indoor work all through the winter, and then pitch work for the last number of months. So it's been a really, really huge effort put in by both men, and thankfully, when you get results like yesterday, it all pays off. So hopefully they get the just rewards. Sean, like myself, is a coach. He's a county development coach employed by the county board, and he's gone in there in evenings and during the day, and that's he's the main man, I suppose, along with Shane.
Do you see now, kind of obviously, you've kind of intervened at underage level? Have you seen that? Do you think now we're seeing the results of the development squads, and the work you're doing? Are you starting to see that now?
Oh, well, there's no doubt, absolutely. It's been a slow process. We're 5 years in our position now, and we'd like to feel that the whole levels of coaching has increased. Now, you're not going to cover all levels. You're not going to cover right across the board, but certainly in certain sectors like secondary schools, development squads, county minor teams, county under 21s, all those guys are now being exposed to better levels of coaching than what was in the past. I don't think anyone can deny that. I think
in comparison to your own, I suppose, journey.
Yes, that's exactly. Like, I mean, I went through the system as well as many other fella, you know, and there's no doubt in comparison to 10, 15, 20 years ago, Cavan players are being better coached. I'm not just saying...
Personally, for myself, but I don't remember coaches coming into school because they just didn't come in, did they?
Well, in primary schools they would have had, but not so much in secondary school. Normally secondary schools more or less had their teaching staff.
Maybe it was only for the boys. I don't know, maybe the girls didn't get a look in then. But I really don't remember, maybe not all like schools. I don't recall like too much emphasis. So literally you played at football, you know, at break time, and that was it. Like, and then obviously whatever they did outside of school.
Mm-hmm. Well, it really kicked off probably 10, 12 years ago.
Okay, right.
With the primary schools, and then I suppose it's been elevated over the last 4 to 5 years. Well, they've brought in, I suppose, the likes of us, myself, Peter Donnelly was also brought in, Andy McGovern, Sean Doherty, Aidan McCabe was also on the staff. So we'd like to think that all these guys are being exposed to good levels of coaching at this point. Whereas in the past, I don't think that could have been said. With all due respect to people who would have helped out with teams, I think it's not that we were falling behind. I just don't think we were making ground both in our schools and at county level, especially county minor level on the 21s. We've had a succession of hard luck stories at minor and under 21 and schools, and thankfully that's starting to change. Yeah,
you can really see, I suppose, with the success of the under 20 Cavan under 21 team, and you know, I suppose unfortunately didn't make the All Ireland as we'd hoped, but you know, you can really see that we have a team to be excited about there, and that they're really making good shape. So
well, it's a change having to argue and debate over losing an All Ireland semi-final, whereas 3-4 years ago we really could hardly win a game, and we have to admit that. Like at minor level we were struggling to win a championship match, and for years on the 21 level that was the case. We really struggled even to win the first round. Now we've won 3 in a row in the 21s. It's a huge leap forward in terms of where we were at. So but
really, I suppose you have to take a clap in the back, and I suppose and I suppose as part of being a development officer, and what I suppose the Cavan County Board are doing for you know, Gaelic football.
Well, I'm only part of the jigsaw, as are the other coaches on the ground. You know, you've really good guys over county teams now. You know, you have Dermot McCabe involved with teams. You have Anthony Ford involved with teams. You have Peter Donnelly, Joe McCarthy. All these guys are...
So a lot of names. People who've been involved at county level, have played you know, the game, they've played, they know what it's about.
Correct. Mickey Graham also. Mickey Graham was minor manager for 3 years. Was very unlucky. You know, very unlucky. Different guys fell ill at wrong times and injuries. Mickey helped a lot of those boys hugely. Maybe didn't get the success, but he was a huge help to where Cavan players are at the moment. Yeah.
So obviously, you, not only that, you don't just focus on the secondary schools, primary schools, but why is St Pat's doing so well? You say you do go to a lot of other secondary schools. Yeah. But why do you think St Pat's is kind of, you know, shining through?
Yeah, well, we do have a presence. We do have a coaching presence in all the 8 secondary schools. I suppose St Pat's, first of all, it's an all boys school. There's 500 to 600 boys out there. They play in the A competitions in Ulster. I suppose where the vocational schools play within the county, so it's more kind of located, it's more isolated, whereas St Pat's, they have to go into the dogfight of Ulster football in every competition. So I think 5 years ago, St Pat's was really targeted as a place that, you know, needed real, you know, assistance, and needed to be, the whole football levels needed to be improved upon, and we needed to get as much participation as possible. And, you know, thankfully, this is the 5th final since 2010.
So they've won the Brock final. Obviously, we had you in not that long ago, when the under 16s and a half won the Ranafest. Final as well. What else have they won? 2 Brock finals.
Yeah, well they won the Ranafest last November. They won the Brock last May 2012. They won the Dalton, which is the first year competition, in 2010. Right. And unfortunately we lost the Cornanog final, which is the second year competition, in 2011. Right. So we've been in 4 and won 3, and now we're in 5. So
not bad.
Yeah, well, it's a huge leap from where we were. You know, so hopefully we can retain the Brock, and I suppose it's all building towards McRory in years to come, and hoping to make an impression at that level.
That's great when you've got, I suppose, this calibre of footballers now and they're winning. So when you're moving on to the Ranfest, is that where these boys will progress to that age group next year and so on?
That's correct.
So you're involved with the under 16.5s. You're obviously now in preparation for the McRory Cup. How's that been going for you?
It's going well. Thankfully, there's a new school there now, so there's access.
What's the facilities like now?
It's brilliant. It's fantastic. They have a massive indoor gym or sports hall, and they have a gym there as well. So the guys that will be involved in the McRory team have access now to a gym, so they can, they're very keen. They've sampled success now, so they're so keen to, even to start preparing as early as now for a competition that starts in October. But listen, we will need all that preparation because it's a huge competition. It's under 18.5, which tends to catch out St. Pat's in terms of age levels. So a lot of our boys will be 17 next year, as opposed to you're playing northern schools with guys there till maybe 18, 19. But listen, we're up for the challenge anyway.
But it's another one you want to kind of tick off. So how long have you yourself been working with this team, the under 16.5s?
This is my second year with them.
And will you stick with that age group? Is that a preference for you, or it's?
Well, I'll probably move on to the McRory with them now. I'll probably move on up to the next level. As I had them at Brock, I had them now with the Ranfest, so we'll probably move on. I'd say Sean Doherty will probably stay and move on with his team on to Ranfest next year.
Brilliant. So when you go into the schools, is there a certain kind of, is all the coaches, are you all following the same kind of strategies, the same kind of, code of training, or is it just you bring your own kind of style to the training session?
Yeah, I think
is there new kind of drills and new things being implemented or introduced?
Yeah, well, there's always new games, new drills and new methods. Look, our coaches differ, but I suppose the one thing we would have a common thread among the 4 or 5 of us would be we would put in huge hours. We would do a lot of indoor work, strength work. We would place a lot of emphasis on strength work and indoor work, and I think all the coaches try to cover that element of the training. And then I suppose outdoors, a lot of our training would be similar. It would be fast, it would be intense, it would be tough, and play as much football as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Just get out there and get practicing.
Exactly.
Well, Finbar, we wish the St. Pat's team the best of luck with the Brock Cup final on Monday, and also best of luck with the preparations for the McRory Cup. And thank you very much for coming in to speak to us here on All About Sport. And enjoy the rest of the training sessions. Thank you very much to Finbar Riley for joining us here on All About Sport. And we're going to take a short break, but stay with us, as when we come back we're going to be speaking to somebody who's going to tell us all about martial arts. So stay tuned.